Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. I apologize for being gone for so long, but today I'm going to be doing a mid-year reading check-in of sorts, just to give you some updates on my reading this year, and it hasn't been going well. But yeah, I just haven't been reading that much lately, and it is very, very, very upsetting. Yeah, I just haven't been in the best headspace, but we're not getting into that. So currently I've only read 5 books this year. So that's very, very low compared to the previous years, but my goal for this year isn't to read a certain amount of books. I decided to scrap that. I just can't help but compare to my previous reading goals from previous years. So in comparison to those, this number is quite low, and I have been trying to read as much as I could, but like I said earlier, I just haven't been in the best headspace. I'll put the book covers on screen, and I've also made individual posts on Instagram where I talk about the books and what I felt about them, things that surprised me, things that I liked, things that I didn't like, stuff like that. So if you're interested in those, I'll have my Instagram linked down below in the description, as well as my IG handle will be up on screen, so you guys can check those out if you're interested. And then moving on to the books that I've paused and DNFed. These two words have two completely different meanings for me. What paused means is just a book that I decide to put down, and I will come back to reading it sometime in the near future. And then for the books that I DNF, these are the books that I have put down where I do not know when I will be picking it back up again. So I don't know whether it'll be in the near future or in a more distant future. I have no idea. So I only have one book that I DNF'd, and it is Shadow of a Darkling by Raymond E. Feist. So for this book, I just know that this is something that I need to put all of my time and attention to, because when I read the first chapter for the blind date with a book video, I could not remember a lot of the things that happened, even though it was just one chapter that I read. I remember the gist of what happened in the chapter, but I couldn't recall a lot of details, and a lot of important details I just completely forgot. So for me, if I were to read this book, I can't read anything else. I really just have to focus on just this one book. So I decided to DNF it for now. And then for the books that I've paused, the first book is The Thorn Birds by Colleen McCullough. This is the other book that I read for my blind date with a book video. Now for this one, I do want to continue reading this sometime soon, because I personally was enjoying this book more than this one. So yeah, I will continue this sometime in the near future. And then the next book that I have paused is When the Stars Alight by Camilla Andrew. I have been reading this book for quite some time now. I think I started this book last year, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm still not even halfway through the book yet. I would pick it back up and then I would put it down just because I would be interested in reading something else more. So yeah, I haven't really been continuing reading this. I would love to be able to finish this sometime this year, if possible. I don't know. I'm very much a mood reader, so if I'm not in the mood to read something, then I won't read it. And then the last book that I paused is A Bear Called Paddington. This is an audiobook that I found on YouTube. Not really found, it was recommended to me, I think. And I just decided to start it one day, and I really liked how it sounded, and it seemed like a really nice, lighthearted book. And I also felt like it was something that I needed to read. I really wanted something lighthearted at the time. So I think I listened to the first chapter or something, and then I just completely forgot about it and did not continue. It's a very short audiobook, so I don't know why I didn't finish it. It's around 2 hours long. So I will be continuing this audiobook sometime soon. I know I can finish it in one day. Again, it's very, very short. So yeah, I will be continuing this sometime soon and finish it as well. So now let's get into my current reads. I'm still reading The Last Ever After by Soman Chainani, and I am around this much through the book. I am on chapter 11. I don't know if this is the same place where I last left off in my vlog. If it is, then that's how long I haven't picked this book up. I think I'm around 20% through the book so far, according to Storygraph. I don't remember the exact percentage, but I think it's around 20%. And I'm also reading this for the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge that I decided to participate in. So as long as I finish this book, then I will have won the challenge, because technically you only need to read one book for the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge. I really want to finish this before the end of summer, or at least before the end of the reading challenge, which is in September, I believe. So I've got time. I've got time to finish this book. And the other book that I'm currently reading is The Godfather audiobook. I don't remember how I stumbled across this audiobook on YouTube, but I saved it to my watch later playlist, and then I was just, scrolling through my playlist because I do have some audiobooks saved there, and I decided to just check it out. I clicked on it. I've never watched The Godfather before, so I was just interested in seeing what the story was about. I don't know any of the characters. I don't know anything about any of the events that happens in the book. Nothing. I was going in this blind, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it. And I think this may be my favorite book that I've read this year, just because I'm enjoying it so much. It honestly reminds me of my Jurassic Park audiobook listening experience. It feels very similar, at least with the way that I'm enjoying the story in the book. So yeah, I also love this audiobook so much. I always love it when there's a full cast of voice actors for the different characters. It's so nice. I just love it when there's different voice actors for different characters, because it's a lot easier to differentiate like who's who and who's speaking, even though the narrator does say sometimes like who's who. It's just nice. It's helpful, and I like it. And I also just like how old it sounds. Like, I don't know if it's like the recording or if it's just how people speak, or like the way that people speak. It's just like listening to those old movies back then. I don't know if I'm making sense. Yeah, if you listen to the audio, you'll probably understand like what I'm talking about. So I'll have it linked in the description down below for book 1. I believe there's also book 2 and book 3. Oh yeah, I didn't even know this was a trilogy. The more you learn. I'm more than halfway through The Godfather, actually. So I've just been really enjoying my listening to this audiobook more than I'm reading this book, because that has been more of a priority for me reading wise instead of this one. So moving on to my current reading goals. The first one is, of course, to finish listening to The Godfather audiobook. As I've mentioned, I'm more than 50% through the book, so I think I just need to listen to like 5 or 6 more hours, and then I'll be done. And I think I can do that relatively soon, or relatively quickly. So that is the first goal. And then the second one is, of course, to finish The Last Ever After for the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge. Let me actually check my progress on the reading challenges that I decided to do. Okay, so we're not doing too bad, but we're also not really doing that great. So here is my reading challenges. So for my 2026 book bingo, so far I've only colored in 2 squares. So that is a book with animal characters. I listened to an audiobook of The Wind in the Willows. And then the other one is read a book in one sitting. And that is for Adeline Goes to School, which is this book. So those are the only 2 prompts that I have done in my 2026 book bingo. Oh, actually, after I finish listening to The Godfather, I could finally also cross this off, which is a mafia story. What else can I cross off here? After I finish this book, I could also cross off this one, read a big book with over 120,000 words. So, okay. So yeah, I just need to read more and finish the books. And then for my Year of Goober reading challenge here, I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, I accidentally crossed this one. So technically there's 24 prompts that I could cross off, but I've only crossed off 5. So the first one is for January for Sourdough, which is for a first book in a series / a prequel. For that, I chose the Wolf Brother book. And then for June, I crossed off the Brownie prompt, which is for a book with less than 300 pages. That is for this book, Adeline Goes to School. And then for July, I crossed out the Apple Pie prompt, which is for a classic or a retelling. And the book that I chose for that is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde audiobook that I listened to. And then for October, I crossed out the cinnamon roll prompt, which is for a cozy read. And the book that I chose for that is The Wind in the Willows audiobook. And then lastly, for December, for the shortbread prompt, which is for a novella, short story, or a graphic novel. And the book that I chose for that is Carmilla. Those are my current progress on the reading challenges that I decided to do this year. You know, we're getting there slowly, slowly but surely. We are gonna get there. So yeah. Oh, I didn't even talk about the stats. Let's get into some stats. Apparently, all of the books that I've read so far have been less than 300 pages long, and also all of the audiobooks that I've listened to have been less than 8 hours long. So yeah, that was very interesting to me. It just didn't really occur to me that none of the books that I read were like longer books. Moving on, my star ratings. All of the books I've given have been more than 4 stars, which I don't know if I'm just like being very generous with my star ratings or not, but usually I either move a book up a star rating or down a star rating depending on where I think it fits along with the other books in that rating. But yeah, I usually just do that at the end of the year. But still, I don't know if I am being very generous with my star ratings or if I really am just enjoying a lot of the books that I've read. Anyway, so that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below if you've read any of the books I've mentioned, and if you have any more audiobook suggestions, because I feel like I'm enjoying more audiobooks this year than reading physical books. So if you have any audiobook recommendations, please leave them in the comments down below and I will check them out. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!